the closest to being canceled by my own audience that I ever have been was I did an episode back in, I think it was 2020, like end of 2020, about the problems with young men in our current society. And in looking back, I don't think I would change much about the episode, but maybe my tone could have been a bit different. But it was basically breaking down all the stats about young men, about the fact that young men are increasingly not getting driver's licenses. They're not moving out of their parents' homes. They're not getting jobs. They're, falling behind in terms of higher education, and women are surpassing them. And the driver's license one was the craziest thing to me because that is such an indicator of a lack of, a literal drive to have independence, a drive to be able to go take a girl out on a date and pick her up. And it's just wild to me. So I did this episode and then I said, like, what's wrong? Like, what is happening? And it was kind of a call to action of if you feel like you are falling into any of these traps or you're part of these statistics, like, I'm just letting you know you're not alone, but there also is room to, you can change course. You can change your life. These are small things. Like, it's really not that hard to go get a driver's license. That is taking a huge step in your life. Like, going and getting even just like a part-time job is a great thing to add to your life, especially as a young man, to encourage, independence and responsibility. And I have never seen an angrier comment section. I mean, it was like I was heartbroken.
Who's commenting, men or women?
Men. It was all of the men. And
what were they saying?
They were you don't understand us. You're so awful. Why would you say this about us? You don't understand what it's like to be a man in 2022. I mean, so angry, which is so ironic because I would also do episodes about that, or like that, about women. Talking about, women moving increasingly to the left, women and their promiscuity, women leaning into feminism, whatever it might be. And they were all for it. And the women were all for it.
It maybe because it's coming from a woman.
I know.
Whereas
I think
if you have a guy that's like
yes.
hating on girls online, every girl is like, oh my God, I'm not, you know what
exactly.
I mean?
That's true.
But then if it's a guy hating on guys, like, oh, you're fat, you're this, you're that, the guys are like, oh, okay, you're right. You know?
So that was the part that I didn't even consider because it's like, I do the show every day. I talk about these things. We talk about, societal ills and problems, and did not consider the fact that this was coming from a young woman, and also just especially at the time, like, I wasn't publicly with anybody. I wasn't married. I think that I was somebody that a lot of these guys probably looked to and liked. And to have like this figure in your life turn around and say, hey, if you don't have a driver's license, you should probably get your life together. That was the most. Yeah, it was like heartbreak because I felt so bad. I was like, it was not my intention at all. Like, this was supposed to be like a rallying cry. Yeah. And so I ended up, because of what you're saying, I was like, I think that's probably why. So I called Chris Williamson, who's a good friend of mine, and I literally flew him out and I had him be on the show like 2 days later and had him watch the episode. And I was like, do you think I should have, said anything differently? And his take was also the same. He was like, no, I say these things all the time, but you're a woman.
It's like women giving dating advice. Yeah. I see the same things of like, oh, a woman can't say what she wants because they don't know what they want. But like objectively, it's good advice. Yeah. But I think just young men in particular have that wall up. And it's funny you said all of that because Adam Carolla, who we just recently had on the podcast, said the exact same thing as you. Mm-hmm. He says his kids have zero drive to get their driver's license.
That's crazy.
Because they could stay home and just order an Uber if they need to get somewhere. They could order Uber Eats if they want food. Yeah. Everything they need is at the house. Yeah. If they want to hang out together, they could hang out like virtually and play video games together. It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Kids, they don't want their driver's license.
I know.
Like, I remember turning 15 and a half on the day I got my permit.
And even me as a woman, like that was so, I just had never even, like there was nowhere in the world of like realm of possibilities that I would not get my driver's license. Like, on my 15th birthday, going out and getting my learner's permit or whatever it is. And I had friends in LA, when I was still an actor out there, one of my best friends who was a year and a half older than me. Gosh, when I left LA, I was 19. She still didn't have a driver's license. She was 20 years old, lived at home, and her mom drove her to every audition, would drive her to if she worked at a coffee shop for
What was her
shift.
reason? Would you ask her about this?
Yeah, she was just like, oh, why would I get one? Like, my mom could drive me. And her mom was like, okay, yeah. I mean, it was
so
just
is that her
like,
fault or is that her mom's fault?
I think it's probably both. I think it's like, because I say both because at 20 years old, if you are... you're not in college, but you've had a long career as a working actor. You make good money. You have a life. Like, she was dating. She was going to parties. Like, it was like her mom was like driving her to like house parties. And like, I feel like there was something there where I was like, I didn't like, would you want your mom dropping you off at like a guy's house that you're like sort of hooking up with? Like, it's just like, it's so
that's
like,
gonna be so awkward.
Picking her up at like 8 a.m,
Yeah,
heels in her hand. It's
that's just like, I feel like it's a, like, that's just weird a little bit. Like, as a young person, I feel like, no, you should. But again, maybe that's me projecting on, people who don't have that same drive because it's a generational thing. So then it goes back to the parents. But I was like, don't you want that? And don't you want to be able to, like, go get in your car and drive yourself to your place of work or to a party or whatever and feel like an adult? And she's like, no. And it was just so wild to me. And then also it's for sure on the mom because she was enabling it. Whereas my mom, if I had done that, she would have had like a boot kicking my ass to the curb, being like, I've been driving children around for 30 years. Like, you're my last one.
Was she an only child, your friend?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're an only child, Graham.
Yes. Takes one to know one. Now, you might have noticed that I'm someone who pays close attention to trends, and lately I've been noticing cowboy boots everywhere. It's pretty clear that a great pair of boots isn't just for the ranch anymore. They pair incredibly well with everything from casual outfits to full-on business attire, and that's why I'm excited to announce today's sponsor, Tecovas.
Have you ever wondered if you could pull off boots? I'll tell you what, I absolutely have. Let's be honest, you owe it to yourself to try out Tecovas. Tecovas makes handcrafted Western boots with over 200 meticulous steps for a perfect fit right out of the box. Whether you're a lifelong cowboy or a first-time boot buyer like myself, you'll feel right at home in them.
A great pair of boots really just pulls everything together. With Tecovas, you don't just look put together, you feel put together. And trust me, people notice. And right now, you can get 10% off when you sign up for email and text when you go to tecovas.com/iced. That's TECOVAS.com/ICED. Tecovas.com/iced.
Plus, Tecovas backs every pair with their Best in the West guarantee with free returns and exchanges for 30 days. Seriously, guys, I genuinely recommend Tecovas, and if you think you can't pull off cowboy boots, see for yourself. You might be surprised. Thank you so much, Tecovas, for sponsoring this episode.